you. It's a full house here. What's going on here? This channel is getting very popular. Mm-hmm. Saludos, Aquiles. How are you? Good evening to you. Welcome back to the show. I'll be on shortly, so please bear with me. I just need to find something here. Super. Thank you, Achilles. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm trying hard. I'm trying hard to drop some knowledge on my friends. You know, my friends out there. Let me see. Esto no trabaja. Okay. Si esto no trabaja, está aquí entonces. And it's right. I can't even see this thing. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okay. Saludos, Mike. Welcome back to the show. Happy to have you aboard. Happy to have you. So we have 9 people. That's good enough for us. You know, we don't need more than 9 people here. We don't need more than 9 people. It's good for us. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, let me get ready. Am I ready? See? Thank you again. Thank you, Mike, for being here. The most important thing is you guys. If you guys are not here, then, you know, for what, you know, why do a show? Julius, welcome back. Julius from Miami. Welcome back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. And ladies and gentlemen, I get very happy when I see 11 organic watch channel subscribers already here live. You know, 11. We only need 11. We don't need no more. Let them come slowly. They'll come in slowly. And I'm happy to see you guys here, ladies and gentlemen. It gets me even sentimental. You know, unbelievable but true. And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, like we always practice in this channel, you know, we look for the thumbs up and we look for that new subscriber, you know, or that person that still is indecisive. They want to be in this, you know, this recovering tomato can, you know, group. You know, we can't be using some special words because they'll throw at me, you know, they'll throw something at lightning at my TV tower and it will go off. So, you know, you guys have to help me out with the words when I can't say them. And you guys are the owners of this show too. That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Sweet Kid Kino's here today, quiet in a corner. I'm here today. He's the brains, I'm the voice, and you are the third. You know, you're the third, you know, the third wheel, you know, of this show. And ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable. I did not think that we were gonna be accelerating so quickly on Kino's, you know, the way he's been telling things that are gonna happen, you know, with precious metal materials, you know, gold, silver, platinum, rhodium, you know, palladium. But ladies and gentlemen, it's scary out there, you know, it's really scary out there. And I must give you that information on these precious metal materials today, ladies and gentlemen. I must, it's part of my job. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight to palladium. And I told you yesterday, palladium was $1,300 a troy ounce of palladium. Welcome to the show, Jonathan. You know, I told you 1,300 yesterday. You know, yesterday I told you that. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you that today it is at $1,350 a troy ounce of palladium. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. He's a very smart man, very smart man. Damon, you understand, he's a very quiet man, but he's very, very smart. You know, muy inteligente. You're right about that. I want you to know that platinum, ladies and gentlemen, platinum. You know, I told you a price yesterday, and I'm going to tell you another price today. The price of palladium, excuse me, of platinum, ladies and gentlemen, of platinum You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen, but the price is $1,648. I don't know what's going on out there with the world. I do not know. I just know that the deep state is involved in all this. The deep state. If you don't know what the deep state is, you know, you need to Google it, you know, because that's another level, you know, that we will be heading into in our studies, the deep state. If you don't know who the deep state is, I'm going to give you, you know, something quickly here so you understand who the deep state is. Ladies and gentlemen, the deep state is the Vatican, the Rothschilds, and ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the Chabad Jews. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. But Sweet Kid Kino does. Sweet Kid Kino does. He knows who the deep state is. One more time, the deep state, the Vatican, the Rothschilds, and the Chabad Jews. That's all I got to tell you. We'll get into that slowly. Slowly. That's very difficult. You know what I'm saying, Julius. You know where I'm going, Julius. They don't know about this kind of stuff. You know, they don't know about this. You know, I always have the ace of spades in my pocket. And I take it out when I need it. And today, I need it. Ladies and gentlemen, silver. Silver is at $48.22. $48.22. You know, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about, you know, I love my Jewish people, you know. Jewish people are beautiful people. You know, I have respect for them, you know, but los judíos son una jodienda. That's what I got to tell you, you know. Jewish people, coño, cuidado con eso. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something about gold. Pure gold. Pure gold. See, this is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. I even get scared when I talk about gold. It's very scary. It is at $3,984 a troy ounce. That is something crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I do not know what's going on with that subject of gold, but it's going bananas. You know, $3,984 is something unheard of, ladies and gentlemen. It's scary. I don't know what to tell you. I only can tell you the deep state is involved. The deep state. Does any of you out there know who the deep state is? You know who the deep state is, or you don't know who that is? Don't feel, you know, don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel embarrassed if you don't know who the deep state is. It's all right. Sweet Kid Kino has it all laid out. You know, he laid it all out for me, and I'll give you a quick rundown who the deep state is, ladies and gentlemen. You know, sure we do. Okay, there he is. We got a gentleman by the name of Family Guy. Let's give him a good welcome in this channel. You know, let's give him a good welcome. He looks new to me. You know, he got a colorful things, you know, on his side thing. You know, like a little balloon. You know, like a beach ball. You know, but ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about many things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about a subject. This past weekend up there in New York City, you know, they had a very, very important watch show. They even dared themselves to say that is the Super Bowl of luxury watches. Hear me out again. They say those people over there from New York City, you know, they were all there in the the World Trade Center, you know, they were on the 102nd floor. They were in the museum, art museum, you know, and it's this gentleman that did this show in 2019. It's unbelievable, you know. In 2019, they did a show that was unbelievable, you know. Unbelievable show that they brought to New York City. And it's called Raleigh Fest. You ever heard of that? Raleigh Fest. Rolly Fest. You know, $30 million in watches, ladies and gentlemen. And the gentleman that brought that show to life. You know, the gentleman that brought it to life is unbelievable. It was founded in 2019, and it was founded by Mr. Geoff Hess. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You know, and the tickets to go into the show will cost you $1,600. You know, these are the biggest collectors of the world. You know, they were over there in New York City, in the Waldorf, you know, in the Trade Center, and Chocando Codo. These are the real collectors. None of those lambones from 47th Street, from the Diamond District, we're gonna be there. Nobody there with no skin tight hair, man bun, Sinbad, the genie, the war, those people from 47th Street, the subway train jumper. None of those people, the toothless guy, tooth missing, those people, they can go in there, porque aunque tú trates de vestirlo con seda, siguen siendo monos, Even if you dress them up with silk, they continue being little monkeys, This is how I see it, ladies and gentlemen, You don't understand what I'm saying. You might think I'm saying something bad when I'm not. I'm saying to you that the people that were in that show and the Raleigh Fest era gente de la high. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you something. Me and Kino were not invited. Kino for sure was not going to get invited, because Kino has a tape haircut. A tape haircut like that, For sure he wasn't going to get invited. And I didn't get invited. Maybe I could have passed and go there. But when I tell you this, you're going to go, wow. This is a $30 million luxury show. So when they got there, those 210 invites, you had to be invited, by a special, Mr. Juan Nieves, come on in, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, when the horns. That kind of stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, 210 were invited. And they went to the show. And when you went into the show, ladies and gentlemen, they had tables. And everybody will take off their watch and put it in. You don't believe me? You Google it. They take it off and put it in the table and walk around. And in all the tables in the show, the Waldorf Hotel, the One Trade Center in the 102nd floor and the museum, they would put the watches there because it was a weekend event, a whole weekend event. They would put the watches in a table and they would walk to the other table. Nobody would touch your watches. When you would come back, your watch was there. You know what I'm trying to say? You don't know about this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying. They will leave the watches in the table and walk away. You understand me? You come, you take off your Patek Philippe, you take it off, you put it there, and you left it in table 6, you went to table 22. Because there were $30 million in watches and tables. Integrity, gente seria. No son los lambones, esos palomos, from the Diamond District, missing teeth, subway train jumper, 10 commandments. None of those people can go in there because hay que tener una ética. You have ethics. The people there that were invited, they were chosen. It's $30 million in watches. People take them off and they would, they would chocar codo, touch you, rub. I don't know how to say that in Spanish. ¿Cómo se dice aquí, Chocar codo, rub elbows, rub elbows with the Beverly Hillbillies, Jethro and all those people. They were there. All of them were there talking about watches. And nobody would steal one single watch. Nothing. Everything was there. A whole weekend doing shows and just taking off, your watch and putting it at a table and you let somebody admire it and look at it and play with it and touch it. Es una jodienda, papi. Those are the real collectors. No los lambones, eso, not You know, Deputy Butthole Eyes with a Tweety Bear haircut. You know, the Walrus Fat Bastard. The two Jehovah Witness brothers. You understand me? Big Pun and Heavy D. You know, the two toddler body brothers out of Miami, Florida. You know those brothers. They're like around 10 of them. They're from India. That they only sell Richard Mills. They're not gonna go there. Papi, esto es otro nivel. This is another level. This is the level that you guys belong in. You know, no con la gonorrea esa, no con la rata esa, no con los piojos eso, no con la garrapata esa. You know what I said? Not with those ticks, not with those fleas. That's what I said in Spanish, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I said. That was a big show, ladies and gentlemen. You know, people walking around, you know, tremendo. You know, people, listen to me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then they had a gala dinner. A gala dinner, people with monkey suits, you know, with big bow ties on. You know what I'm trying to say? What I bring to you guys for free is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable, the knowledge I give you. It's like getting a GED from Harvard. You know, it's got, you know, un doctorado, you know? What I give you guys for free is unbelievable. You know what that is? I give you things, people with big monkey suits on, big bow ties, you know, and then there, you know, the cufflinks with their initials, you know, Cornell University, Princeton, Stanford, Berkeley, you know, increíble, papi. These people from that Diamond District, they look at them como si fueran un moco. You guys have to be selective who you want to be around, who you want to talk about, you know, because the person that has the monkey suit on with the big bow tie, he's going to tell you, my grandfather, my great-grandfather left me this Patek Philippe. You know, when they talk, those people, the way they communicate, and you're talking about these people, their bank accounts, you know, I'm not counting their money. I'm not counting the money, but these are 210 people invited from around the world. Around the world. Esta gente no sabe quién estas cosas. Yo tengo que explicarle, enseñarle ética. Ética. ¿Tú me entiendes? People that know how to eat with a fork, you know, the butter knife, you know, the spoon. ¿Tú entiendes? GED from Harvard. That's it. That's how we say it here. You gotta be smart. You're in this, you know, team. You have to understand the way I talk. Ladies and gentlemen, explain to him what a GED. Explain to him, you know? And these people are unbelievable. Limousines after limousines picking up these people. Papi, esta gente no son rata. Son gente educadas. Con principios, con éticas, you know, and they go talk about watches there. And ladies and gentlemen, the most craziest thing is the way they do business over there, because not only are they looking at each other's watches, these motherfroggers are even gonna do business there. You know, you like their Patek Philippe moon face chronograph leather strap, you know, $1.2 million, $1.3 million, and you like it. They do business right there with a shake of a hand. Papi, es una jodienda. That gentleman, Geoff Hess, the one that did that show, you know, he did it in 2019, and then that thing, you know, that Corona beer era came around, you know, people had to walk around with masks, and they had to cancel the shows. But that show was going all the way to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. And limited credit lines, papi. None of this, Ferrari, Italia, Lambon. Lambon giving away their SBA loan, none of that stuff, none of that PPPP, No. These people have, these people, Johnson & Johnson. You know who Johnson & Johnson is? I bet you don't know who Johnson & Johnson is. They're there. Johnson & Johnson sentado ahí. Johnson & Johnson, baby powder, those people there. Esto es una jodienda, papi. Eso es otro nivel. I told Kino, you cannot get upset about that. Me and you, we can never be in there, man. This is another level. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta show you something because, again, when I tell you things, I like to show you things, even though you're gonna do your own Google search, you're gonna say, coño, esto es una jodienda. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you something. And when these people, these multimillionaires, they do a show, I swear to God, que Dios no me castigue. It looks like the movie, the movie we talk about, the guys that wear the mask, eye shut. You know what I'm trying to say, right? But listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't play around. That's Rolly Fest. Look at this. Rolly Fest. Rolly Fest. And the Astoria. And the Museum of Arts, and the tower, 102nd floor, So then you got those people in that show. These people son una jodienda, ladies and gentlemen. I even look at it and I get goosebumps. And then you got this guy. You know that guy? You know that guy there? You know that guy there? That guy right there, right? And then they had another guy. They had another guy that used to do a program. He had a program when he was younger. He was like, they called him in the program Kevin. Remember Kevin? You know what I'm talking about, Kevin. Not Kevin from Home Alone. No, not that Kevin. This guy here. This is unbelievable. This guy. See if you know who that guy is. That guy was there too, because he is a big time watch collector. Kevin has his own company of watches and everything. I think it's called the Wonder something, A ver, el tipo este. I think it's called the Wonder Years. Remember that guy, Wonder Years? The Wonder Year, Kevin, Pobrecito Kevin. You small little guy, Wonder Years. There you go. He was there, and you get all these, these big mouths, those guys with, you know what I'm trying to say, eclectic looking, they're there in the show, and they're talking about this and talking about that. And ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Read it and weep. Read it and weep backwards. You try to read it in backwards. Sister Weenie. Daddy man! $30 million, Savage, friends. $30 million on tables. On tables. And these people with a shake of a hand. With a shake of a hand. Take it. Take it. Because that one is the owner of Johnson & Johnson. That one is the owner of Kraft. You know what Kraft is? Kraft cheese? I'm telling you what it is. 210. The whole weekend hanging out. Like the Bilderbergers. You understand me? Like Mr. Wonderful, I don't know too much. I'm not gonna take the responsibility to say es un lambón. Papi, you're talking about, tú sabes, la tranca, monkey shoe with a big bow tie, you understand me? And I think if I go there, I can fit in there. I don't have the same, the same resources they have. But yo entro ahí, yo me acuerdo. I go in there and they respect me. They see, look at that crazy guy. Those people are all crazy. And I don't mean crazy, the way they look. Very eclectic, Y es una jodienda. So, they're not going to tell you this. Those people will never tell you about this. Los lambones eso. Deputy Boxing Black Eyes will never tell you about this. They will never tell you. They don't know about this. They know how to do this to you only. That's all. Those people won't do that to you. Those people will talk to you. I'm telling you, I will be able to have a great conversation with those people. I'm telling you, but I want to share with you what that's all about. It's an inner circle. You said it, Wicked. It's an inner circle. Es una jodienda, papi. Tú sabes, those, walking around with their wives, with their side chick, with their girlfriends, you know, friends, boyfriends, whatever it is. I don't care. I wanted to go, but it was no way I can go. It doesn't matter that the tickets cost $1,600. You have to be invited. You know, tú tienes que ser invitado, papi. You have to be invited. It's not like, no. We want to hear a name. You know, Dupont. You know who the Dupont is? Los Dupont. Let's invite the Duponts, you know? You know, they do acrylic, you know, caulking, you know? You know, Dupont. You guys don't know about this kind of stuff. I think I'm wasting my time, you know? But I gotta tell you about that so you know there's another show for those people. Esa gente no van, these people don't go over there, wait until March and April to go to watches and watches. Esta gente está en otro nivel. You know what I'm trying to say. You know exactly. You know what I'm trying to say, Damon. And you see that and you go, wow, it's a different level of collectors out there. You know, see that Pete knows what I'm talking about. Los Dupont, you know, Dupont, you know, Johnson and Johnson, Colgate, Crest, you know, papi, these people, el dinero no se termina más nunca. No se termina más nunca. I know what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to help you guys out to get prepared. I'm trying to open up your surroundings, your horizon. You know, Lo Fanjul. You know who Lo Fanjul is? The sugar cane. You know, pero, you know, Julito, yo le puedo decir Lo Fanjul porque yo no sé si ellos saben. ¿Tú entiendes? Porque son un poche lambones y palomos. I'm only kidding, boys. I'm only kidding. But it was a great show, they said. But honestly, what really bugged me out was, because, you know, Kino has connections all over the place. And these people say, you know, you like that watch? Yeah, okay, here, take it. Don't worry about it. You know, when we listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, when the show is over, we exchange, you know, my private, you know, cell number, you know, my email, y ya está, vete. To those people, to lose $1 million is like somebody help me out, guys. You know, tú sabes, it's, you know, if you're putting $30 million in the table to walk around and look at them and touch them and talk about the movement and the history, you're gonna steal from me $250,000. A drop in the bucket, papi. Coño, es que se pise la sabe toda. Pise la sabe toda, coño. It's like drop in the bucket. They don't care, man. Take the watch. You know, I'll talk to, listen to this. I'll do it better for you. I'll talk to Geoff Hess. You know, Geoff Hess is the one, the coordinator of the show, the owner of the show. Don't worry about it. Take the watch. But no, take the watch. Because estos hijos de la gran, they're all loaded, man. They're all loaded. Not loaded, you know, not loaded that, es que esto es duro. Esto es, you know, these people are deep state, you know, these people are deep state, man, you know. Es una jodienda. I just wanted to let you know, I keep on telling you guys about the deep state. And I'm going to give you a watch market because I'm going to finish quickly today. The deep state is something unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I will go back to the Rocky Fest. The deep state, I've been telling you that the deep state is the Vatican, the Rothschilds, and the Shabbat Jews. And then they used the Freemasons and the Knights of Malta as fixers. And they used the city of London, Wall Street, central banks as managers. Check this out, boys. Aprendan, no sean gilipollas. Listen and learn. The Vatican, the Rothschilds, the Shabbat Jews. Estos son los magnates, papi, los magnates. La crema. Allá arriba. Then they used the Freemasons and the Knights of Malta as fixers. They used the city of London, Wall Street, central banks as managers. That's the deep state. Below the deep state is the shadow government. If I get a thunder lightning, esto se jodió. If I get a thunder lightning, esto se jodió. The shadow government, which is a compromise of the politicians and senior bureaucrats, many of the murderers, I can't say the second word, I'm not going to say it, that have been brought into the, I can't say that name either, that word either, system as control, blackmail, element. Those are shadow government people. But they are not the deep state. They are the best of the servant class. You don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen. This is too tough for you guys, but I have to give it to you. I have to give it to you. I got to give it to you. You understand what I'm trying to say? Of the servant class. The different ways in which the deep state, in particular, the Zionist supporting foundation for the deep state, which has the Anti-Defamation League as its primary secret police. Papi, esto brutal, papi. That's what that is, all right? That's what that is. These people control everything. They control everything. Ellos ven todo. That's the deep state. I can tell you a little more, but it's too many big words that I can't throw in there. You know, I think that's enough what I tell you there. And, they manipulate. They manipulate, man. They manipulate and assassinate whoever they want. That's what that is. I'm going to give you guys a watch market update because you guys deserve a watch market update. You guys, no, it's not interesting. You Google it and you'll see it and then you go, wow. You Google it. What do you think? You think that this we're skipping around, You understand? Esto es duro, papi. Esto es para lo grande. This is, I'm giving you little different things so you can, think about them, Think about them because, we cannot continue skip hopping around through life. Hay que aprender. Those people that they were in Raleigh Fest, they know that like it's a, they know it by heart. I said it messed up. The way they say it, it's unbelievable. And that's it. Y ya está. Es una jodienda. And the words that I didn't say, if I say them, you get scared. But I can't say those words. Those are very, very dangerous words. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go into the watch market update. This is what you guys are here for, and I'm going to give you a watch market update. I got a request today from Mr. Jose Mercado, and Mr. Renato. So I have some watches for them too. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with the first watch. Is a Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41mm Pistachio 134300 with a retail price of $6,640. Do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch. Don't be dodo birds. Don't pay for that watch more than $10,800. The watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. You do whatever you want, but the watch market is dead. It's dead. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Rose Gold 15400 Blue Dial 41mm. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a complete set, and it's not converted. It was born this way, and I'm going to tell you the 15400 Blue Dial 41mm. I'm getting one. Okay, it's going to happen. Don't pay for that 15400 Rose Gold Royal Oak 15400. Don't pay more than $67,000. $67,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give it to you today. I'm going to give you a watch market update. But you guys need to know why everything is the way it is. You know, you can see better things. You can understand better, you know, the way things are moving around. Things are tough out there, man. Things are tough. You know, this gold thing is getting very, very, how can I say, uh, it's getting worrisome. You know, it's getting worrisome now because it's moving too quick. I think by tomorrow this thing should be, I think by tomorrow it should be hitting $4,000, a troy ounce. I honestly think that because it's just moving up, man. Probably when I finish this live stream, it's already at 4,000, and probably silver's at 49 already, $49. Because it's just flying. So whatever you're doing with your goal, be smart, man. Be smart. Be smart, guys. Yeah, I think I need my own network, huh? I think I do. I hope I didn't scare you guys what I was explaining to you guys about the deep state. Nobody's gonna explain that to you. Nobody's gonna explain to you about Raleigh Fest. Nobody's gonna tell you they're gonna put 30. You imagine being that show. You imagine el cerebro, la cabeza, el comportamiento, the behavior, the way you behave, and they put you inside that show, and you see $30 million of watches, and you see in that corner over there sitting down, you see the DuPont. In that corner over there sitting down, you see Johnson and Johnson, and you look around and you see over there, that is the Carlos Slim's granddaughter over there in that corner. You know who Carlos Slim is? You don't know who Carlos Slim is, right? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's good for you guys to know this. It opens more your horizons. Your conversation gets better. Se pone mejor. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Rolex Date 40 millimeter white gold meteorite, diamond dial. Reference number 228239. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay. Eso correcto, papá. Eso correcto. Don't pay for that watch. You do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch more than $54,000. All right? Don't pay more than $54,000. It's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another watch here. We have a watch that many of you purchased this watch, and many of you were happy, and many of you had a good watch. It's still a good watch. It just doesn't have the meat that it had at one moment. We're talking about the Rolex two-tone rose gold with stainless steel, the root beer. The root beer. Beautiful watch, the root beer, two-tone, 40 millimeter. It's an incredible watch. Reference number 26711CHNR. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch is now at like $18,700 is the retail price. And I'm going to tell you, you do whatever you want. You do. I'm not a real big fan of two-tone watches, but for some reason, I like this two-tone watch. I also like the two-tone watch from, you're pretty close, Mr. Donut. The Patek Philippe with the blue dial, two-tone stainless steel with the rose gold, 5980. I love that watch too, and it's a two-tone. Very, very, very beautiful watch. Don't pay for that watch, for that root beer. Don't pay more than $16,100 in dropping. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you here a watch that you guys have requested for a price on this watch. This is the Rolex stainless steel 50th anniversary Submariner Kermit. The Kermit, the 50th anniversary. I think it came out in 2005, 2004, something to that. It came out. And they call it the Kermit. It has an aluminum green black dial, 40 millimeter. And this watch has a reference number of 16610LV. You want this watch, full set. You want this watch full set. You don't want none of this, wishy-washy stuff. The watch is unbelievable, but I don't have the box, I don't have the paperwork. Because at that time they didn't have cards, they had the paperwork. You want a full set, no mumbo jumbo. And don't pay for that watch if it has all that, don't pay for that watch more than $12,500. Okay? Don't pay more than $12,500. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Rose Gold Date 40 millimeter olive green dial, reference number 228235. Beautiful looking watch. You know, at one moment in that Corona era, that watch went all the way up to $90,000, $85,000, $100,000. You know, we're talking about a rose gold date, 40 millimeter with an olive green dial. That's it. That's all it has. Plain Jane date. You know? And it went up there, and people were up there, man. They were just, you know, they were getting deep. They were getting it deep and deep and deep. And people were just loading up, you know, getting greased up, greasing up the agents, greasing up the owner of the AD, whatever, just greasing up in the back door, you know, all the way in the back door, getting greased up. And those guys will take that watch and they will buy it for 45, you know, 5Gs greased up to ownership, agents, whatever it is, you know, send it by PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, you know, Velmo, I don't know that, you know, those things, you know, those apps, and sending money all over the place. And those people will get the watch for 45, 46 and sell it to one of your lambones for $80,000. ¿Cómo le van a comer steak? How are they not going to eat steak, $17,000 steak? How are they not going to eat sushi? How? You guys were maintaining these people's habits and lifestyle, you know? You know, dressing up with the Louis Vuitton Nike sneakers, the ripped jeans, Montclair sweaters, Supreme hoodies, you know what I'm saying? Red gold fast car, you know, orange gold fast car, green gold fast car, Lambones, and then taking that guy to the steak dinner with the guy with the white t-shirt, the sunglasses, the paddock in the hand. He's like around 4 feet, 11 inches, and he chopped the meat, and he goes, you know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. Como ustedes regalaron el dinero. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know, don't pay. Don't pay for that olive green dial. Don't pay more. We're talking about use slighter condition materials in this channel. Use. Don't pay for that watch more than $45,500, and it's dropping. You be careful. You be very, very careful. You be very careful. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Rose Gold Sky Dweller with a chocolate dial. Unbelievable. Leather strap. Reference number 326135, 42 millimeter. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You're talking about a $45,000 watch. 45. How much am I going to turn out to pay for that watch? How much? Tell me a number. No, rose gold. Rose gold. Rose gold with a leather strap. 42 millimeter. Guys, listen to what Thurston Howell III has said. 34 Achilles, Thurston Howell 38. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this price, you're going to be able to understand my Mr. Donut 33. One more time. We're talking about just the case, the head, leather strap, and then you got the buckle and go as well. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You ready? Don't pay for that watch more than $26,500 so you can argue the $500. $26,500. You do whatever you want. Reference number 326135, 42 millimeter. It might be a dog. Yeah, it's a dog. It's a dog today. It's a dog today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the Rolex stainless steel Lavendor purple dial, 36 millimeter. Reference number 126000. Okay? Beautiful watch, 36 millimeter. How much am I going to turn out to pay for that Lavendor? You know, purple. How much? 36 millimeter. Let's see how much. Somebody shoot something out there. Somebody. Nobody knows? Don't pay for that watch more than $10,200. Don't pay more than $10,200. Okay? We have a Rolex, stainless steel, green dial, Oyster Perpetual, 41 millimeter. Okay, Rolex stainless steel, green dial, Oyster Perpetual. You know, this is one of the most economic watches that Rolex has in their catalog. You know, it's one of the most economic, but for some reason it's, you know, it goes up. It really holds its value, you know, in the secondary gray watch market. This is money green. This is not the pistachio. This is the green, 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 you know, crayon green. And ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $8,100. All right? Don't pay more than $8,100. I have a watch here from Mr. Jose Mercado. Jose Mercado, the 5167 stainless steel Aquanaut with a retail price of $29,875. For you, Jose Mercado, don't pay for that watch more than $54,000. You do whatever you want. It's stainless steel, you know, with a black rubber, black dial. Don't pay more than that. You pay more than that, you're going to be in trouble. All right? He's also asking me for a Rolex Submariner, 41 millimeter, black dial, black ceramic bezel, 41 millimeter. Don't pay for that watch, and you do what Aquanaut, exactly. Don't pay for that 41 millimeter. Don't pay more than $11,400. You do whatever you want. You're safe there, you know? This one has a date. And ladies and gentlemen, I have another request from Mr. Renato. Mr. Renato, he's asking for the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Moon Phase, you know, retro gray, you know, with a date, 4000 V, 41 millimeter. The retail price of that watch is $48,200. And I'm going to tell you, sir, Mr. Renato, don't pay for that watch more than $36,500. You do whatever you want. It's your money, Renato. You spend it as you please. Also, he's asking me for the Vacheron Constantin Historics, the 222, 37 millimeter, yellow gold. 4200H, I watch more than $59,500. You do whatever you want. And he's also asking for the Vacheron Historics 222, 37 millimeter, stainless steel. Oh, yeah. Did we get one? Are you guys hearing me? Are you guys hearing me? Yes or no? No, pero me está escuchando. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Gracias, Julius. Thank you, Julius. So the Vacheron Constantin Historics 222 37 millimeter, blue dial, 4200. The retail price of that watch is $32,000. $32,000. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Renato, don't pay for that watch. No matter what they tell you, don't pay for that watch. The gold, 59. You got, okay, Achilles, you did good with the number. You did very well. Don't pay for that stainless steel with the blue dial Historics 222. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $52,000. Than $52,000. You know, those are your watches for your watch market update, your prices, so you know what's going on, so you guys can defend yourself. All right, guys? I was telling you about gold, and I'll keep on telling you people about gold. Be smart, you know. There's people already. If anybody is from Miami, Florida, in somewhere in downtown, there's a person that does purchase a gold, and he's paying out. I'm saying this just in case you're scratching your head and you're tempted to sell your gold, which my advice, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not giving you any kind of tips, but I do and I will tell you, don't sell it. Don't sell it. If you needed to live, if you needed to eat, if you needed to maintain your family, your children, that's a different story. But if you don't need to do that, I wouldn't do it. But there's a place in downtown that the person is paying out 98%. 98%. I'm going to ask this question to Dr. E or Thurston Howell or maybe Julius. Is that a good number? 98%? 98%. 98%. He's taking for himself 2 points, Gracias, Thurston. He's taking 2 points for himself. So if you guys are feeling that you guys, or you need to do that, that's, pero papi, I want you guys to know that I'm never going to tell you, and I'm never going to give you no financial advice. I'm just telling you, if you feel I'm hurting, I need money, I need to let it go. And what I'm talking about that is people bought this gold at $1,400 an ounce. $1,400 an ounce. And it's at 4,000. An example is at 4,000, you're making $2,600 an ounce. Let's say you have 20 ounces. Let's say you have 20 ounces, which is something, how much is 20 ounces, Thurston, Mr. Donut, Thurston, somebody, Dr. E, how much is 20 ounces? I don't know. That's pretty good money, man. But I'm telling you, I still believe that this thing is, for everything that I'm telling you, I honestly believe that, it's something big is coming our way. Everything is not, it's not on a line. No está alineado. El mundo está virado al revés. So you got to be careful and you got to think about it. You're right. You're right. But I wanted just to say that if you feel that you need, because you don't want to go to Joey's pawn shop, and he's going to pay you 70%, and you're going to stay with 30, you don't want to do that, ¿Tú entiendes? Exactly. You don't want to play with your means, so don't go to Joey's pawn shop, I'm saying Joey as I'm making believe. I don't know who Joey is, I want you guys to know Joey's pawn shop. I don't know. Just Kino's pawn shop, I don't want you to go to Kino's pawn shop and give away your gold, No, sorry, you don't want that to happen to you, And there's a lot of people that I know that they're moving around right now. What they're moving around, which it surprised me, it really surprised me. What they're moving around like this is silver, and I'm questioning it, and they're saying, listen, we don't, what happened in 1980, what happened in 2011, and we don't want to get, no quiero que lo cojan con los pantalones bajados, I don't want to be caught with my pants down. So some people are moving around silver, but I must tell you this to all of you. And this is gonna shock you because this is big words. And maybe you guys know this, but do you guys know that silver, with the numbers, is outperforming gold? Do you guys know that? You guys know that? So I'm still like, I still see silver as, it still has a lot of room to continue, going up, wow, Dr. E, man, you're still stacking, man. You're for real. So let's share this with, with your Organic Watch channel buddies here. So let's say an example. You bought it at $2,000 an ounce. You were still stacking up at 3,000. You're still going to continue stacking up when it hits 4,000? At 4,000. He's a beast. Wow. Yes, wow. So one more and I'll leave you alone. I won't get no more personal with you, Dr. E. If it hits 5,000, Dr. E, if it hits 5,000. Wow, easy, man. Ustedes son unos atrevidos. You guys are real, you guys are risky for real. You guys ain't playing around. You guys are sticking to your guns. I've been telling you, so it's a sleeper. No, okay, but I've been telling you guys, he's coming through the back. He's gonna get you in the back. Gold is going to 10K. So you see that? So look at that. I said 4,000, they laughed. I said 5. Are you still gonna continue buying at $5,000, Dr. E, an ounce? Because I'm gonna tell you something afterwards to all of you. 10K, selling half. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. And somebody just put their Bitcoin, and I was going with that route. Gold, I believe, is going to happen the same thing that happened with Bitcoin. That's what I allegedly believe. I'm not giving these people any kind of advice. I believe that the same thing that those young kids loaded up on Bitcoin and made millions of dollars is going to happen with gold. I honestly believe so, because the way it's moving. Did you think Mr. Donut, Thurston Howell, Julius, Dr. E, Grande, Pete, did you guys believe that it's moving quickly or no? Or you think it's moving so? You will buy at 5. But do you believe that it's moving slowly or it's moving quickly? Quickly. It's moving quickly. It's moving quickly. It's moving every time that my phone goes ding ding, and I go to this thing that analytics that I'm involved with. It's accelerating. Yes, it's going fast. Thank you, because I don't want to be un lambón. I don't want to be the only window licker to think that. I want you guys to tell me, no, it's moving. It's moving quickly, man. Alex, you're dropping knowledge, Papi. Be careful. Be careful. So, 51, I think. Thurston, wow, man. It's going crazy. And it's, they're talking about these experts that I look at, they're two maniacs. You guys are maniacs. They're saying, well, listen, silver's outperforming gold. And I'm like saying, coño, outperforming gold. Silver is outperforming gold. It will level off. Wow. Doc Mick in Florida says it will level off in gold, silver, both things, both moving very fast. Poppy's moving. So there it is. You guys are saying what I say, moving very fast. But ain't you scared that it could also drop very fast? I don't know, man. Okay. And you gotta watch and act fast. Muy bien, Grande. Very well said, Grande. Que va. Wow. Que va. Julia said que va. So, okay. So then, what you guys are telling me is that the numbers that we're seeing right now on the lighting board, they're gonna stay there. You're telling me that the numbers you're seeing flashing on the ticker, they're going to stay there. They're not going to move. That's what you're telling me. I want help as well. I want you to share with me what you all know, and all of you guys basically are thinking like me. But at times I get like, in India is buying them. They're buying like you won't believe, and it's the same thing that Dr. E was saying. They don't care if it goes up. I'm still gonna buy it. So I hope that I think by tonight probably I'll be reading a book in bed, and thing is gonna go and I'm gonna look at it 4,000 or 4,004. No more paper gold. That's right. That's right, Alex. No more paper gold. That's what BlackRock said. BlackRock said, no, 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 no. No queremos más papel. We don't want no more papers. You know, we don't want no more. We don't want no more paper. We want real gold in our hands. We want it. We want it. Give it to me all. So, but you know, I explained to you guys yesterday. You know, to fill up, 3 Olympic-size swimming pools. You know, 164 feet long by 82 wide by 6 feet 7 inches deep. That'll fill up 1 Olympic-size swimming pool. Three. That's it. Ese es el oro que tenemos. Don't tell me no more, guys, that there is gold in Fort Knox. Don't tell me there's gold in Fort Knox. Hay un carajo lo que hay ahí. I no hay nada. I have always said this, and I'm going to stick to my guns. I think all the gold is in the Vatican. If there is. In the Vatican. That's what I Fort Knox. Exactly. You know, we were talking about that 6 months ago, Mr. Donut. 5 months ago, 6 months ago. People were telling me, yes, there is gold in Fort Knox. Do you guys believe there's gold in Fort Knox? Tell me yes. I don't care. I want to hear it. Exactly. Wow. Well, paper dollars. Muy bien. Very well said. Very well said, Zodi. Very well said. Eso es así, correcto, very well said. Yeah, so, I'm telling you guys, to stick, look at your phone at work, look at it. 3,000 cubic meters, 3,000 cubic meters. There it is. It's, 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Ese es el oro que hay. And then we have 20 tons floating in the ocean. Yes, you can't wipe your ass with gold. That's right. That's right. So guys, I'm telling you this. I think this is flying quickly. Watch foreclosure and unemployment, bad time. Oh my God. I don't want to keep on saying that, Dr. E, but you said it, so I'm going to just say it. Listen, guys, I'm telling you, there's going to be, they even said already, for what I read, I really went into it. They're expecting the same amount of recession that we had in the year 2008, in el 2008, and they're saying there's going to be even yeah, okay, the gold is in Fort Knox. Wow, okay, wow. I love you. The check's in the mail. And the gold is in Fort Knox. All over again, 2000. You think so, Julius? Come on, give us your, on steroids. Diablo. Wow. Did you hear what Julius out of Miami said? 2008 on steroids. They say there's going to be a lot of people out there, Papi, hurting. A lot of people out there hurting. And we're lucky enough that at least we are awake and we're not holy day. Coño, pero Alex, está teniendo fuerte, Alex. Wow, man. Did you hear what Alex said, and did you hear what Doc Mick in Florida just finished saying? You guys know your stuff, man. You guys know your stuff, and I'm telling you, everything that you guys are writing down there, I'm with you guys. I really believe, like Julius from Miami said, 2008 with steroids. A patar por la nalga con todo el mundo. Vamos, heads are gonna roll. Heads are gonna roll. I think a lot of people are gonna get caught. Because a lot of people are not awake. They don't even know. They don't know. Por seguro, Alex, de verdad que sí. Julius is right. I'm telling you, yes. But I'm telling you, I read 2008, and they're saying that what's coming through there is a tsunami, with a hurricane, with a tornado, with military situation around the world. And let me tell you guys, this situation over there, in Venezuela, and nothing has happened. And I honestly don't believe that he could turn back. He can't turn back. I don't think he can turn back. What I'm trying to say is, o le mete mano or he goes in, but I can't go back. So I have to stay there and spend $8 million a day. It's like, well, I'm telling you, he can't come back. Ya está metida ya. He can't go back. You stay there and you wait until you get the, métele mano. Métele mano. And the only card that I see that he has, wow. Listen to what Julius wrote again. Gentlemen, listen to what he wrote. He wrote like the trifecta there. Commercial, real estate, auto, homestead, all going to shit. That's what he said. So you guys, que they're saying, stay focused, stay smart the way you guys are, stay smart. And listen, whatever you guys know, man, pass it along to your next door neighbor, your buddy from work. Let them know, man, that things are not looking good, man. You got people in this channel which are very, very smart, people that are dropping knowledge, and that's beautiful. And I love to hear that, I love to hear that. I love to hear you guys talking the way you're talking. Renato, I gave you a watch market update on the watches you requested, okay? Renato. So again, I feel very happy that you guys are the way you are. You're ahead of the game, it might get you, but it's not gonna kill you. You might get me, but it's not gonna kill me, There's gonna be a lot of people in fragante, just standing there, slaughtered. That's it, Time to brush my hair. Thanks, Juan. Stay cool, Julius from Miami. Stay cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with me again. Thank you so much for all your support. Your support in any level. Thank you for your support. And nada, hasta next time. Until next time I see you guys in another live stream. And like me and Sweet Kino say always, I've said it wrong. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, right guys? And like me and Kino say always, take care and brush your hair. Peace out, boys. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.